raised? Seeing none. Again, we're in your debt for being with us this morning, Darrell, and we'll continue to have this conversation. Thank you. I would like to invite Senator Winfield, and I think he is remote.
I am.
And good afternoon to you, Senator.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair. Good afternoon, Madam Chair, Mr. Chair, members of the ranking members and members of the committee. I come to you today to testify on the same bill as Representative Wilson before me with very similar concerns. I'll start off. I'm known to quote James Baldwin. I will quote James Baldwin again. Baldwin says, "I can't believe what you say because I see what you do." A lot of people in the community that I represent hold that as an opinion of government. In 2016, it was a bill 461, Senate Bill 461. It went through the Finance Committee. It hit the floor, and Senator Fonfara said, minority business, he talked about that the reason we were doing this was despite the success of the Small Business Express program, that success had not extended to minority communities. And what we saw in the debate about this was that folks on both sides of the aisle were supportive of the bill, to the point where it was unanimous out of the House and out of the Senate. And even L. Scott France applauded the revolving nature of the fund because it would allow us to continue to do the things we needed to do that we had not been doing. And here we have a bill that not only changes the name, that would be one thing, but changes in essence what we are doing. Would you have a requirement that businesses who are under $1 million in revenue, when you're talking about small businesses, you're going to be talking about the majority of those businesses. When you add in alliance districts, distressed municipalities, and then this other term that hasn't really been put forward, but public investment of municipalities, which includes municipalities that need help around that need assistance around their required services. You have opened this program up in a way that is significantly different than the way we defined minority business enterprises. I understand that there may be reasons why the current administration in Washington gives folks reason to pause when it comes to some of the things that we've been doing. But this state did this for a reason. We did this for a reason because we had not been getting it right. We said we are going to put aside $5 million a year. And at the end of that 5 years, we have funded this revolving fund so that we can do the things we need to do to advance people who our public policy hadn't always advanced. We haven't actually done what we should do there, but we certainly should not be doing this. And so I encourage this committee. I heard the chair talk about the fact that this bill is in the state that it's in, and it comes from the Department of Economic and Community Development. But it is important that we show up and make sure that our voices are heard. We explain why we have the opinions that we have. And I think this is a place where voices need to be heard and people need to be on the record. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator Winfield, for being with us, and also for your unrelentless work on so many levels, not the least of which is the subject matter we're talking about before us today. And so I think, actually, Senator, this is a kind of a continuation of a conversation that began just last week when we were going into special session. And so there we had a proposal before us doing the same kinds of things. This is the continuation of doing this. And at that time, we recognized the severe shortcomings and the need for a total reset, which we will be doing here in this committee. Our goal is to support small minority businesses and communities, and we will not step aside from that. So, as I said, as we began this, this will be vetted, edited, and reproposed. But thank you for being with us. I always appreciate your input. Comments from colleagues and other members on the committee. And seeing And Senator Miller.
Thank
You have the
you.
floor, madam.
Good
See
afternoon,
you.
Senator
Yes.
Winfield. Thank you, Madam Chair. Good afternoon, Senator Winfield.
Afternoon.
Senator Winfield, you said that the bill was originally enacted in 2016.
Yes, that's correct. It was Senate Bill 461.
So do you
And
know?
I'm sorry, it was
I'm sorry, go
also,
ahead.
just so you know, it's Senate Bill 461 and Public Act 16128.
Okay. And do you know it was $5 million per year? Is that what was in
For
the
5
bill?
years, yes.
For 5 years. And so do you know if the monies were dispersed? The $5 million was dispersed each year as
I-
outlined in law?
I
or
believe we
prescribed
have,
in law?
I believe we have not done everything we were supposed to under the bill as it relates to the disbursement of that money.
So with that being said, and piggyback on Senator Martin's question, do you think that would hinder the startup or businesses being able to use those funds?
I believe if
As
my
designed.
recollection, sorry, I didn't mean to step on you.
No, that's
I
okay.
believe if my recollection is correct, then had we done what we were supposed to do, this would not even be a question. Had we done what we were supposed to do, the revolving fund would be fully funded, and there would be no need for the state to really talk about its role in getting to fully funding the fund, right? And so I think there's a way in which you have to understand the importance of implementation. We are very much involved in policy that creates a thing, whether it be a program or a statute, but oftentimes where there's a lack for various reasons. I'm not pointing to anyone currently at DCD or at anywhere actually, but for various reasons, we do not do great at implementation, and over time things change, right? And so when the law called for us over the course of 5 years to fund it $5 million, that's what we should have done. We would have a revolving fund, and the state would have less of an issue right now, I believe.
Madam Chair, may I ask another question?
Yes, by all means.
Thank you.
Have the floor.
So, Senator Winfield, as a representative, I know you were very instrumental in making sure that we do a disparity study. It took us a few years and it was finally done. Can you talk about why that was so important that we do that study?
The disparity study was the legal foundation upon which many of our programs were built, right? We know that there are folks who don't see the world the same way as you or I, and think that these programs are programs that should not exist. And so the legal basis for them is the information that comes out of the disparity study. Our disparity study was very old and out of date. And so, as you suggested at one point, I was heavily involved in a disparity study in making that happen, and the Black and Puerto Rican Caucus and other friends and allies to try to make sure that the state was not just trying to get money out the door, but had a legal foundational basis for doing that. And unfortunately, it took many years, but fortunately, we finally got there.
And so, do you know much about the current study? Because I'm told that it's effective the July of this year, the information.
I wouldn't bet my life on this, but I do believe that to be correct.
So with that being said, and the disparity study, and then to change, just in your opinion, to make a change now before the disparity study is even effective, how do you think that would do you think it would exacerbate the situation if we made that change now?
I think a couple of things. I think one, remember that when 461, Senate Bill 461 came into play, part of a huge reason why we did that was we had programs for small businesses. We had programs applied universally and were supposed to help everyone. They didn't. The outreach component was just not something that DCD handled well to minority communities. Focusing specifically on those communities is important to deal with that issue. I think taking that away, which is from my perspective, as I've laid out, when you break down the component parts of this, what we would be doing, basically means a return to form that was not good form. I think also you know, when you suggest to the people of the state you're doing something, you should do it on DCD's website. It says that the Minority Business Revolving Loan Fund is just one of the ways Connecticut encourages the growth of minority-owned businesses. But we are here, and I recognize that the head of DCD will probably testify later and explain why, but we are here doing something that goes against that sense. I started off this talking about a quote from James Baldwin. There is a reason why people in these communities believe what they believe. And I think we have a responsibility to make sure that as much as possible, that which is kind of cynical, right? It is a cynical perspective is not true. Yes, I think it would do much harm. Now, we'll just also say this, and maybe I shouldn't venture this. If you accept that you should be doing this, where do you stop? Right? The question in my mind is, if you accept that we should do this because the administration thinks that there's a way that funds should be dealt with that has not been the way that we've been operating, has not been the way that we thought of doing things when we thought of being our better versions of ourselves. Is this the end? No, it's the beginning. And so what does it think? I would encourage folks who might think, well, you know, we could do this, to think about what the end is. And at some point, the end touches you, even if it doesn't touch you today.
Senator Winfield, thank you very much for your very thorough and insightful answers. Thank you, Madam Chair.
And thank you, senators, and thank you, Senator